Hi, Anthony Cheeseman here with my February market wrap. So what are we seeing in the market that we're seeing the last month? Well, for buyers, the buyer confidence has increased. Obviously, the interest rate has been put on hold once again, which is now putting in buyers' mind, well, hang on, we know where we stand now. So they're coming in more confident when they're going to look at properties, knowing that they're not going to have another, 10 interest rate rises and not be able to afford the property. So for the sellers, it's all about what is my circumstances? Like, if there's not much out in the market there, how am I going to sell and then find somewhere to live or buy? So what we're finding is for buyers, this is an opportunity because there's sellers out there that do want to sell. So there's a little negotiation maybe on the term. So if a seller goes, look, I need 3 to 4 months to find a property, then it might be good in the buyer's interest to go, hey, well, I don't want to pay absolute premium price, but what if I offer you this and I give you those 4 months to give you time, or you can rent the property back off me until you find somewhere. So that's what we're finding, a little bit more flexibility in people's terms, especially for the sellers because of the lack of stock in the market, because the buyers and sellers are basically the same people at the end of the day because they're selling and looking to buy. For investors, well, investors are still obviously, there's still a shortage of investors because although the rentals have gone up so much, cost of living and all that, they've had to rise everything else as well. So they're a little bit hesitant in purchasing a property because the negative gearing side of it is a positive for the tax purposes, but at the same time, when they want something to make a good, strong income, they're relying on whether they go short term or long term. Now, the short term in Airbnb is being affected. The government's looking at cracking down on Airbnb and things like that, including rising council rates astronomical for short term stays, which we've been doing for quite a while. So they're trying to obviously entice people, investors, to do long term because we're in a rental crisis. And sometimes those numbers don't stack up for those investors, so they start pulling away from the market a little bit, and we have found that. However, in the prime spots like Broadbeach, we're sitting right behind me right now, you're seeing the casino and a building I'm in right now. These are holiday sort of apartments, so they're getting huge returns because we're still seeing an influx of people holidaying here. They're getting a very good income, and it's worth a while for an investor to buy these type of properties, and they're willing to pay a premium to do so. So some final tips for sellers. Maybe a little bit of flexibility. We all want that premium price, and for that premium price, sometimes we've got to give a little bit to the buyer. So in that case, what I mean is catering for the buyer's needs as much as the buyer catering for the seller's needs. There is obviously still very short supply of stock in the market, so we're trying to sort of work with each other here because look, we have to buy, we have to sell. So those transactions, we are seeing longer settlements in a lot of these other properties. For the buyer, be in a position to buy. Like if you've got a short supply of stock on the market and you're competing against other buyers, well, you need to have all your finances ready and short-term settlements or longer-term catering for the seller to be able to be very enticing and stand out from the rest. So when you have your finance in order and could have put an offer on the spot, maybe when you're at a property that you really like, that's really gonna entice the seller to really consider rather than going, look, I have to sell my property first. That may not be a guarantee. I want this massive price. And then next thing the seller's going, well, hang on, I'm not gonna wait that long. I don't even know if they're gonna sell it. I don't wanna take it off the market. So for sellers, I advise, be a little bit flexible and understanding. And for buyers, be ready to go and put your best offer forward, and I'm sure you'll have some success.